Greetings, friends. We've made it to Saturday, April the 18th. I always have to check. Today would have been Record Store Day, but it's been postponed. With that in mind, I want to share with you that I often forget to tell you that I'm still featured every Friday on the Stupid Morning Bullshit Show on the Adult Swim channel, which streams, and you can watch it on TV down in Atlanta, Georgia. And originally, when we did the Valentine's Day special, we shot some footage for a Record Store Day special that was going to air yesterday, but Record Store Day has been postponed. But I hear from Adult Swim that they're going to run it next week. They're going to run a half-hour Adult Swim special within next Friday's Stupid Morning Bullshit Show. I'll remind you of that, but you probably want to check it out. When they announced that my special was coming up, they got a really big response, which just touches me. It does. It's Saturday. I'm going to kind of like roll slow this morning. A little groggy this morning. It hasn't been like that for a while. Maybe things are catching up to me a little bit, and that's one thing why I said what I said about being prickly, because it may be a little bit of the anxiety of this lockdown affecting me. I mean, things are different. I'm rolling best I can, but that may be it. I really don't have patience, and I just deleted another. I'll get on to some music here. Hear me out. I just deleted some comments from a Joseph something, trying to take me to task about the Chambers Brothers and the Beatles. That person obviously doesn't understand what racism actually is. Look up the definition, okay? And then apparently that person, I don't know, okay, just let me get this off my chest, okay, because I have to deal with this stuff, okay? I'm not Mr. Perfect. It does affect my thoughts, interacting with you all, the public. Racism is real, and I deal with it. So the idea that someone will come along and just say something really ignorant, that's what it is to me. It's ignorant. I just deleted it. It's stupid. The person did not know what the fuck they're talking about. I'll do that every time, okay? Okay. So it's Saturday. It kind of feels like Saturday. The sun is shining. This is going to be a challenge for Omaha because our numbers have gone up, and they have gone up like they said they would. We're up over 1,000 infections, and it's sunny today, so we'll see how people handle this. I'm just staying put. I'd like to stay well. Okay. We lost some musicians since last night. 2 more. I didn't pull any of their records. I'd have to look them up. Giuseppe Logan, I don't have his album. Obscure jazz musician who has a well sought after album on ESP. Giuseppe Logan died. Bassist Henry Grimes, who I do know I have him on some records, he passed away. And then this one, because I caught it last night, Matthew Seligman, who played with, he was in the Soft Boys. Now that brings something up, because I had those records when they came out and sold the album, but I had the first single, didn't sell it. Had it when I moved in this house and have not been able to find it since. Now there are a couple of areas in the house where there's heavy furniture I haven't moved in a while, but I don't know how it would have ended up back there. But Matthew Seligman passed away. I also have this. He played with Thomas Dolby, and I have this album. It's a 12-inch single side project called Low Noise. It's Thomas Dolby with Matthew Seligman and his band doing the Joni Mitchell song Jungle Line. And this is a cool version. I've had this since it came out. I like Thomas Dolby, and I played, is it still out? Yeah. I played the golden age of wireless, but this is different than apparently the original English version. The credits on here are different than on the one that's listed on Discogs. And Matthew Seligman is listed on the one in England, but not on here. I still played this and enjoyed it. So the fact that we're losing so many musicians and people and just all this upset, this is real. It's no hoax. My heart goes out to you folks who are dealing with this civil unrest by these boneheads. I don't wish harm on those people, but it'll be interesting to see if these people doing these protests about going back to work and getting all together, if they infect each other or if they don't. I'm curious about that. I don't want them to be infected. I'm not hateful like that. And one more thing, because like I said, this is my channel. You can leave any time. I don't care about subscribers, I tell you, because it goes up, but I'm not here trying to get subscribers. I'm here talking. I give no credit to Trump. You know, he is bad news for the country, for the world. What a shame we have to deal with that. Pop will eat itself. Clint Mansell, who has gone on to do some great soundtracks and inspired me to do Flyover. He was someone I listened to as I prepared to work on the Flyover soundtrack. But this is a Pop will eat itself single, XYZ. Good song. They were a good pop band where they were obviously trying to mine popular aspects of culture at the time. They were really into sampling and using hip-hop beats. Here's a 12-inch by Mojave 3. When the main guy from, sorry about the light in the back, folks. I'm just deal with it. When Neil from Slowdive quit that band and started this, took on a slightly country flavor, but it's still spacey. This is just one song, Bluebird of Happiness. And this is just some remixes of that, but it's really good, cool song. Cool song. Listen to this last night. It's a split album or 12-inch single, whatever. One piece per side. Fulflej on one side and White Hills on the other. Grinding, noisy psychedelia. Boy, did I get into this last night. I like noise. I like psychedelia. I like sound. Both sides of this is really good. It's on red vinyl. Both sides. Played this all the way through. Really enjoyed this last night and posted about it. Mandre. This is Andre Lewis from Omaha, Nebraska. He passed away, but he was a keyboardist primarily, but a monster keyboardist who did a lot of work. I mean, he played with everyone from Frank Zappa to he performed on stage with The Who, with Keith Moon, who was in Earth, Wind and Fire. Bunch of stuff. This is cool because it's him embracing electronics and R&B. Hank Red, I've talked about him before, the Omaha musician who was with Stevie Wonder. He was in this band and wrote some of the tunes on this album as well. Great Omahans. I also played with Andre. I was in a band called Righteous Vibration. I mentioned them recently. It was a reggae band, and it had a member of the Ethiopians in it. He was actually in the Gladiators and the Ethiopians. He was a member, Mello. And then Sekou Neblet is his name, the Bugorodu player who was friends with Fela. He was in that band. And then Andre Lewis joined us for a while, rehearsing. But I can tell the truth here, rest in peace. Andre had so much damage from drugs that it was hard for him to be around other people, even if they were just smoking pot. And he did pretty good for a while and then he broke down and took a hit. You know, he told us he needed to stay straight. Nobody was, but we were a reggae band, you know, so we smoked, you know. Man, you know, it was all over once he smoked. He just really fell apart. He couldn't play. Ended up on the floor rolling around. It's a true story, people. That is from multiple years of all kinds of damage to him, but boy, could he play. Reminds me, I see people asking me to tell my stories. I do tell my stories as I feel. I'm just not into requests, people. You know, sorry. I do things as I feel. And the deal is, I've been on here for 10 years now. I've told these stories, you know. I don't label the videos to make it, which in hindsight would have made it easy for people to find stuff. But I've already told these stories, and if you like me talking, go watch some old videos and find those stories. I'm going to go with what I feel. I'm not doing requests. I'm just going to go with what I feel. I played this last at Hawklords, side project of Hawkwind. Side Power, the A side of this, I think is really goofy. 25 years with it. Side Power is another song of Hawklords I do like. The A side of this 25 years is too silly. You know, it's just too silly. But the B side, The Dead Dreams of the Cold War Kid, that is worth this record alone just for that one song. Way cool. Way cool. I love Hawkwind. Hawkwind put out way too much stuff and they've been through crazy changes. But I love Hawkwind. I don't collect them. I tried to start and then it got ridiculous. Listen to this last night. Talk about noise. I'll take it out of the plastic so you can see. And then I love it when I show records online and it prompts others to play the same record, because that happens to me. I'll see someone else post something and it will prompt me to play it. It's fun. So I played Boris's Pink, quite a bit of this last night. Really enjoyed it. What a mess of an album. And this is a limited edition Pink. They do a lot of limited editions. I won't open this. I've showed it before. Pink, really good. Really enjoyed this last night. Jazz, Dave Liebman, drummed. He was with Miles Davis. He was in the band 10 years after. Great player. This is a really, really solid album. Really excellent. Not typical ECM. It really doesn't sound like an ECM album. This is a jamming album. Really good. The Bridge, Thomas Leer and Robert Rensel. Do you know this album? This is this is really something when it comes to electronic music, developing in outside pop sense. This is not pop, but it could have been. At the same time that it's very industrial and experimental. Really good album. This is an original. Really good. Played this last night. Pink Floyd, London, 66, 67. I think this is the soundtrack to that movie about London's hip scene. White vinyl. I enjoyed this. Interstellar Overdrive. That side is the one to get this for. It starts off really tentative, like they're not sure if they're going to get the song started right, and then it gets going, and it's really good. I love Pink Floyd. Tasavallan Presidentti, I believe they're from Finland. Jukka Talonen, guitarist, was in the band for a while. Milky Way Moses, I've had this forever. This goes back to my teens, or right out of my teens. Hadn't played this album in ages. Love it. Sorry about this light, guys, but I'm just going to keep going. A recent edition on vinyl, I've had it since it came out on CD, and saw them on this tour when they did Lollapalooza. It blew me away. One of the best shows I've ever seen. Superstition by Siouxsie and the Banshees. What a great, as someone said to me, what a great mid-period album. A lot of times, by this time in a band's career, they're just putting out output. This is brilliant and really shows great cover. It's elegant, but it's also it's hip. This is really good. Siouxsie and the Banshees. She's extraordinary. An extraordinary individual. Some jazz for you. I was looking on the shelves and this popped out to play. Norman Connor's Dark of Light. Do you all know this album? You ought to know this album. This is... Let me put it like this, okay? So, Kamasi Washington, who I love and I've met and seen in concert, is kind of seen as a new, a modern-day jazz warrior, or someone who's kind of bringing some attention back to jazz. And I agree, and I'm glad, and he's got a circle of people he works with that's amazing. Robert Glasper, Terrace Martin, all those cats. Thundercat. Well, if you've listened to his albums, the triple album sets and all that, it's a wonderful, big, sprawling sound. He got it from this. Kamasi Washington's current sound is this. This is where he got it from. I mean, he got it from the spiritual jazz community. But if you have not heard this album, this is the blueprint for Kamasi Washington, and Kamasi Washington is still working to get to this. This is amazing. And his other album, Dance of Magic, this is Dark of Light. Dance of Magic, Dark of Light. They go together. Dance of Magic, which is in the shelves, is even stronger, in my opinion. Kamasi Washington would do well to reach the stunning heights of this album. And interestingly, Norman Connors was a drummer who had to go into R&B and funk to make money. After he made these records, he started making R&B records, and he started to make some money. But he also made history, in my opinion. Norman Connors. We had been talking about Buddy Miles. Buddy Miles is not on this, but that led me to pulling some Hendrix and playing this. And this brought up a good conversation online because this is a mono 1980s Japanese repressing. And it sounds much better than the American version. I like the American cover better. But for already experienced playing-wise, this mono cut is brilliant. You hear things that you don't hear on the American. I love Jimi Hendrix. That's really all I got to say about that. Played this My Solid Ground again and pulled the CD that I told you I bought because there's extra tracks. There's a whole other album on the CD besides this. This is really good. I highly recommend this. Sakamoto doing Renaissance music, just like it, with Danceries, The End of Asia. This is with traditional instruments. Beautiful, beautiful renditions of his compositions. This will be it, because I put the other one away. The excellent jazz drummer Jack DeJohnette back in the 70s embarked on starting a rock band with various elements before we heard of world music, and this was the result. Compost, they have 2 albums. This is the second one. I played the other one yesterday too. This was ahead of the times, people. It was. This is really good. It's not mind-blowing. Matter of fact, some people will say, it's just okay. And I agree with that, except if you just keep listening to it and you see what's going on in the layering and the structuring of the music, that's probably more interesting than the vocals and the main melody line on a lot of this. It's the group work behind it. Kind of ahead of the times, I think. Okay, 19 minutes worth. Keep talking to me, folks. Stay strong. This is a weird time, you know. I can't make any predictions about how things are going to go or how long it is before things sort of get back to a flow. I don't know when that is, but we've got to hang on. We've got to hang in there. We've got to be strong. We need to be kind to one another too. Okay, I'm still the same person. I'm just not up for taking shit off of strangers. Let me make that clear, because it keeps happening, and it's going to. And I just slap y'all's shit right down. Go sit in the back of the class where you belong. The rest of you people, actually this message goes to them too. Sending out a message of love and concern for all, that we get through this and somehow we can come out of this better. That we love ourselves and each other more, love the planet more, be less hoodwinked by money and by greedy people who are always manipulating us. Maybe we have a chance to make the world a little better.